Baltimore, home of the Orioles, home of the Ravens. You know who else, or excuse me, what else is home to? The greatest Green Lantern to ever fucking live, Guy Gardner, and he is from South Baltimore. So I'm gonna tell you exactly why he's my favorite Lantern and why I think he's the best. He's not gonna be anyone else's favorite, and that's fine. But let me get right into. I'm gonna get into one specific moment, which tells where he's from, and it also tells a story about why I like him, like where he came from, how he got where he got to, and what he's doing now. It tells all in this one issue, and they did a really good job doing that. So we're gonna start with Al Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, issue 16. And this has appeared in the Green Lantern history where Hal Jordan's been missing for a little while. Half of the Green Lanterns were dispersed. Sinestro had taken over the Yellow Lantern Corps again, and when he took the Corps over again, he kind of was actually restoring order in the DC universe. So in the universe, they're scattered. Some Yellow Lanterns were doing good, and we come to a time where all the Lanterns have reformed, and when they're reformed, of course, their arch enemies, the evil Yellow Lanterns, are at it again, and they want to put them in jail. So we start off with some lanterns. We got Tamar Rao. We have a couple other Green Lanterns like Kilowog. They're trying to put these guys in science cells, which is a jail. And in the end, we have John Stewart actually come in and get the last person in jail. Meanwhile, back at this planet called Planet Heap, Guy Gardner is going to fight Arkillo. So, because Guy Gardner wants to bring all the Yellow Lanterns and Green Lanterns together to face new threats together and merge the cores, not the same color, but at least the same, energy, the same goodness and whatnot. And Arkillo kind of wants to follow in Sinestro's footsteps, and he wants to just take over shit. And Guy Gardner says, in Baltimore fashion, bitch, put your hands up. What it is, dummy. That's what he said. And then Arkillo said, bitch, it's on. Now, Guy Gardner, being a badass from South Baltimore is not a good place, people. Well, in South Baltimore, he takes off his ring like a gangster. And he's ready to pummel Arkillo. No rings. Let's do it. Arkillo, look at him. He's like, his biceps are the size of our bodies. He weighs like 900 pounds. He shouldn't be going toe to toe with this dude, but he does. He got heart. And Guy Gardner has a really cool line here, just gives his personality away. My translator earpiece gone squirrely. Did you say festoon? Because Arkillo said he's going to festoon him. He said, what the fuck is festoon? And then they start at it. Arkillo takes his ring off, and then he starts to pummel Guy Gardner. Damn near knocks him out. I think he actually does knock him out here. And he starts talking shit. Is that it? And Guy Gardner has a flashback to his father when he was younger, and he's on the ground. His father is just saying, I come home from a double shift, and I got to come home to this pigsty. Look at this place. And he's seeing his father in Arkillo. He's having flashback. Grew up poor, and he didn't have anything. So, and him and his father were broke. So that's kind of where it comes from. I think that's pretty powerful. You'll see a lot of that in this issue right here. Arkillo was walking away. He's like, man, I thought you were going to survive longer than that. A cup of coffee gets thrown in his head, and you see Guy Gardner in true Baltimore stance. Don't go, princess. We got an audience. Let's give him a show. All bloody, bruised up. He's ready to go. And Arkillo is fucking him up still. And Guy Gardner on every hit is like, wait, I have a question. And Arkillo says the answer is no, I will not grant mercy. And the Guy Gardner wasn't asking for mercy from this behemoth of a creature. He says, I was just wondering if the sparring was over. And Guy launches at him, tackles him into a wall, and demolishes the wall. And then he has another flashback of his father. After, of course, his father hit him because he had the house a mess. And then you go back to the present, where Guy Gardner is basically telling him, I've been told I was a hardhead. And Arkillo's giving his, he's kind of literal as an alien. And he's telling him there's a difference between being willful and being a fool. And he says, you refuse to use your ears? Then I'll rip them off. And he goes start ripping off Guy Gardner's ears with his bare hands. And then you have a scene where John Stewart and the rest of the Lanterns are coming down there, And they know John Stewart knows Guy Gardner, so he knows why he's doing this, and he knows Guy Gardner is not going to stop. And Guy says right there, you ain't from Baltimore. You don't have to have heard of someone that talks like this. And our killer says, when I'm done fucking you up, it's gonna be a visit. I'll take a visit over there. And he gets a flashback of his father again when our killer was asking if he's fatigued and called him a pinkling, kind of like a punk. And the father's flashback, he's telling him to go cry. His father was an alcoholic too, I believe. But something that's not in this issue is Guy Gardner did not just grow up in South Baltimore. He actually also was a South Baltimore policeman. And if you go see is We Own the City, then you'll see a story about a white Baltimore cop from South Baltimore. And I think he was in a drug task force. And you'll see how corrupt they are. Not saying, and Guy Gardner was a cop that wasn't corrupt. So imagine being a cop that wasn't corrupt in Baltimore City back then. And he keeps getting flashbacks of his father pummeling him. And eventually, when our killer asks him if he's tired, and Guy Gardner swings at him, and now Guy Gardner says, "Are you tired?" And our killer's getting frustrated now. He says, "Never," and starts choking him. And John is now is telling his ex-girlfriend, Kat Matui, Sinestro's daughter, who's trying to stop the fight. John tells them, "No, Guy wanted this. It's got to end the way he wants it to end. That's the only way it can end because the guy is stubborn, especially during this fight." And Guy Gardner and tries to rip out Arkillo's eye and hold his eye in his hand. And he says his old man was a drunk, used to hit him, but he never took a punch that hurt as bad as any he gave. And he is fucking Arkillo up. He is boxing him. Just face, all fist to face. His teeth are breaking, his eyes out of his sock, his other eye is swollen. And now you see concurrent flashbacks with his father hitting him and Guy hitting Arkillo, and he's saying, "Say it, bow, say it, bow, say it." And that's a cool ass pose of Guy Gardner. Still kind of wearing his t-shirt from the 90s, but we're not gonna talk about that. And Arkillo says, "I yield." And this is the best line. "Damn right you do." Exactly. And then he falls in John Stewart's arms and he gets taken away. And that's the beginning of Guy Gardner and Arkillo's friendship, which they should be showing more of that. DC does not show that at all in any books that Guy is in anymore. I haven't seen them two together in a long time. So that's the end of that. That was Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern issue 16. If you want to follow us, we are MLF HQ on everything. Excuse me, Minor League Films on everything. Or on TikTok, we're Kuronocomics. We will catch y'all next time with a video on Lex Luthor.